Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. You probably weren't expecting this video because, you know, it's a video that I don't think I've ever done a video like this where I tell like a story, do a story time type of video, but I had to do one because I had a very scary accident. You can probably tell by the title what happened or what I was thinking is gonna happen. Anyways, Thor is just in this little bed I got him. Say hi, you can barely see him. Mocha's right here. I don't know if you guys have seen my dogs in a while. Mocha is literally bigger than Thor. And look at these cute little beds I got him. That's on a happier note, but yeah, anyways, Mocha's not sure about this bed. I love my puppies. So I'm just going to start from the very beginning with this story time. Do you want to sit here? So I'm just gonna go ahead. Like, this is so cute. One sec, just like look. Aw, I don't mind that pile of clothes. Where is it? Just have stacked up over there. I'm perfect, actually. My room's perfectly clean. So that's all that matters, is you can pretend you see a perfectly clean room. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead. Why are you looking at me, baby? Come on, come into bed. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead. The dogs are just gonna be in the camera and it's fine. This is about them. This video is about them. I'm just gonna go ahead and get started right from the beginning. It happened, let me see how long ago. So this happened on Tuesday. It is currently Friday. So why do I have to do this math in my head? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, so it happened basically Tuesday at 12 midnight. So basically Wednesday at midnight. I usually stay up really late. I was working really late and I was downstairs in my family's house. If you don't know, we live in an apartment in my family's house upstairs. So I was downstairs working on some late things for YouTube and such. So Josh was up here with the puppies and I was downstairs working. So I get this call from Josh, and as you guys probably know if you follow us on Cass and Josh, I always am pranking Josh. I'm always just like pranking him or like freaking him out just because I think it's funny and I love to scare him and make him have a heart attack. Anyways, so I get this call from Josh. It's like literally midnight. It could be a little bit before or past midnight. I don't really remember. That doesn't really matter though. Why are you smelling my hair? And I get this call from him and he's like, Cass, hurry and come up here really quick. And I'm thinking, okay. So I'm like, why? He's like, just come up here now. So I'm like, okay. So I put down my things, I'm in the kitchen downstairs, and I start running up here. And I'm like, I tell my mom and Janie, they're also down there with me. I'm like, Josh told me to hurry and go upstairs really quick. They're like, why? I'm like, I don't know. So I just like run upstairs. Going through my mind right now, I'm thinking, okay, he's probably trying to like prank me because I just really pulled like a massive prank on him. I didn't video it, but I like literally just pull pranks on him all the time. So I'm thinking, oh, he's just trying to prank me, or he wants to show me something like really cool. Like maybe there's like a raccoon in our backyard. Maybe there's a huge spider in our house. I don't know. So I'm like, okay. So I literally am getting at my phone and I'm starting to film as I'm running upstairs because I'm like, he's totally gonna prank me or something. Oh, my mom's calling me. Just one brief moment. All right, moving on with the story. Where was I? Okay, yeah, I'm running upstairs. I'm filming on my phone. And I'm like, okay, he's gonna surprise me something. So I'm like recording as I'm running upstairs. And I will like insert the footage. It's really nothing. I'm just running upstairs and our hallway's a mess. Hey, so whatever, I'll still upload the footage just so you guys can see. I run in and I look at Josh, and Josh is sitting on the end of our couch with his hands over his head, like just freaking out, like not knowing what to do. And I'm like, what the heck? So I like stop recording. I'm like, what? So I stop recording because he looks like very like stressed and sad. Like this literally happened in just like maybe 30 seconds to a minute, but as I'm explaining it, it probably sounds longer. Anyways, he's sitting there with his hands over his head. Cass. I'm like, what? He's like, I think Thor's dead. And I'm like, what? And I'm like freaking out because I'm like, well, this wasn't what I was expecting. So I look over to the right of me and Thor is laying there, and he's laying on his side. His tongue is out of his mouth. His mouth is foaming, like there's just foam all down the thing, and his eyes are closed. And I'm like, what's going on? So I'm like, Josh, what happened? He can't speak. He's like, like he doesn't know like what to do. He's in shock. Like I can't get anything out of him. So I'm like freaking out. And this is like in the 10-second frame. So I literally grab Thor. I don't know what's wrong. And I grab him. He looks like he's dead. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? My first thought is, okay, I'm gonna run downstairs and see if my mom or my dad can help me, because like I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know, like it almost looked like his neck was broken. It looked like maybe he choked on something. Like I didn't know what was happening. So I run downstairs. I'm holding Thor in my hands. I'm like starting to cry. And like Josh is just like freaking out upstairs, like in shock or something. And I'm running downstairs. I'm like, Dad, Mom, Dad, Mom. So I go through the place to get into my parents' house from our apartment, little hallway, and my dad is putting Beckham to sleep in his room, and that's like the first place I walk in with Thor trying to get to my house, and my dad's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I just pass my dad. I'm trying to get to like the light because it's super dark in our house because it's like midnight. I'm like, Mom, Dad, dad. So my dad's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? My dad's like chasing after me. I'm trying to get to the light where my mom is downstairs. I'm like, I think Thor's dead. I don't know what's happening. I think Thor's dead. Like, my mom's like, what's happening? What's happening? I'm like, I don't know. And my mom's grabbing him. He's not breathing. Let me just say that he's not breathing at all, but his eyes are open. So his eyes are open and he's looking around and like, he's like struggling to breathe and he's not breathing. Like his body, let me just see you. Come here, Thor. Aw, he's sad that I'm talking about it. Come here, baby. Come on. So his body was not breathing. Like I can feel his heartbeat right now. I can feel his like lungs moving in and out. He was not breathing, you guys. I'm like, he's gone. I'm like, Mom, like, but I'm just like not thinking about it right now. I'm like, Mom, I think he's like dead. I don't know what happened. My mom's like, he's foaming out of his mouth. His eyes are open. So that's like good because before his eyes were closed and now his eyes are open, looking around like, and he has like foam and his tongue's just hanging out of his mouth. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And my mom's like, what's happening? Is he choking? I'm like, maybe, I don't know. I think maybe he's choking. And my mom literally says, okay, get on your phone and look up how to do the Heimlich on a puppy. Look how, like, she wanted to be safe and everything. So Janie's down there. Janie asks Siri, like, how to do the Heimlich on a puppy if a puppy's choking or what to do if a puppy's choking. So they're all doing that. And I got on the phone with Josh. I'm like, Josh, what happened? What happened? And he still can't like talk. And I'm like, is he choking? Like, so I just like run upstairs. I'm like, I gotta figure out what's happened. Is he choking? Like, I need to figure out in seconds. I like run as fast as I can back up to our apartment. I'm like, Josh, what happened? Is he choking? Josh is like, no, he's not choking. And I'm like, so I don't ask him any more questions. I just book it downstairs. I'm like, Mom, he's not choking. He's not choking. So my mom stops doing that because I don't know, like if you can't breathe, that's not really helping doing that. Or I don't know if it's helping or not. I don't know. Anyways, I run downstairs. I'm like, he's not choking. He's not choking, Mom. I don't know what's wrong with him. So I grab him and Mom's like, hold his neck. I could have hurt him worse because I thought he was choking. So I'm holding Thor and I'm holding him like this, where I'm holding his neck like straight so he can't move. And Thor's like not moving at all. Like he's not moving his body. This is totally like him. He's just like sitting there like, I don't know what's wrong. Josh didn't know what's wrong. He didn't know if he was paralyzed, if his neck was broken, anything. And I have no idea what happened upstairs because Josh is just in shock and he's just freaking out and he just thinks Thor's dead and he can't like say anything because that's what happens obviously when you go into shock is like your brain doesn't work like normal. So I literally run with Thor. Janie's like, hurry, we're taking him to the emergency like animal hospital. So I like run. My mom's in her robe, no shoes. I'm like, Mom, come with me, come with me. So my mom goes out there in her robe, no shoes. Janie grabs her keys. She's like, I'll take you. She starts her car. Also, Mocha, like since I was running up and down, Mocha followed me down and Mocha's like crying. I forgot to mention this when I first walked in and Josh said, I think Thor's dead. Mocha's sitting there looking at Thor crying. Like he's legit crying, like doesn't know what to do. So Mocha follows me downstairs. Mocha runs out to Janie's car. I'm like, no, like Luke wakes up from me like screaming or whatever. Luke and Beckham both woke up from me screaming. So I'm like, Luke, take Mocha. So I give him Mocha. I'm trying to hold Thor. Luke and Beckham go and babysit Mocha. I'm holding Thor in the car. I'm like trying to get my seatbelt on. I'm like so worried, trying to hold his neck straight. My mom runs in the car. Janie, we go. And so I'm just holding Thor as like tight as I can. I'm trying not to move his neck. We thought at this point his neck was broken or like he was paralyzed. Like we thought one of the two. Like I don't know. So I was just holding him. My mom's like, do not let him move his neck. My mom's like, call Josh and find out what happened because like we need to know what happened. So I call Josh. I'm trying to hold Thor. I'm like, hey babe, you need to tell me exactly what happened. Like I have no idea what happened. Like I thought he was choking. Like just tell me the whole story of what's going on. He goes, okay, so this is what Josh explains to me over the phone. And he's still kind of in a freaked out, like shocked mood, but he's explaining it to me. So he said Thor was like crazily barking. Like he barks, but it's not like a crazy like he running around like barking type thing. Thor's like kind of like screaming, barking in his kennel because Josh put them to bed. So Josh gets Thor out trying to see what's going on. So Thor goes to bite him. So Josh like lets go of him. Like what the heck is going on? And then Thor just like lays down and he's just like having foam come out of his mouth and he's like clenching his teeth and like laying there like limp. So Josh is like, what the heck? So Josh tries to like grab him, seeing what's going on, like seeing if he can walk or what's happening, and he just like falls back down. Like Josh is like grabbing him like with his hands like this to see if he can stand up, but he just falls back into his hands. Like Josh is like, what happened? Like it was just the weirdest. Hey, sorry, they're like biting this like wood stuff on their new beds that I got them, and I literally have a bed right there. Mocha, I hear that. You are turning into an adult, young man. You need to not bite your bed. I know you can't understand anything I'm saying, but I love you. Go get one of your toys. Don't bite that. Anyway, so Thor's just laying there. He can't stand up, and Josh said he just sticks his tongue out and closes his eyes. Like he just died. Like out of nowhere, just dies. So that's when Josh hurried and called me and was like, Cass, something's wrong, come upstairs. So I'm in the car talking to Josh about that. He tells me the whole story. We're almost to the animal hospital. I get out with Thor. I'm trying to keep his head so straight because I literally have no idea what happened. Like, I still at this point have no idea what happened. Like, Josh doesn't really know anything more than me, rather than he just, like, that just happened. So I'm trying to hold Thor. I think his neck's broken. I don't know. So my mom calls the animal hospital while we were driving, told them we're on our way. We thought he was choking, but I don't think he's choking. We don't know if his neck's broken. So my mom's trying to explain to the animal hospital what's going on to prepare for us to come. So we get there, I get out of the car, and I start walking with Thor. Now there's a lot of dogs around because, you know, emergencies happen with dogs and whatnot. So Thor usually barks at other dogs just because Thor is a scaredy cat and has very bad like anxiety for a dog, and he's just always barking at every noise and everything. So of course Thor isn't barking at the dog because I don't even know if he can bark. Like, I don't know what's happening. So I take him into the animal hospital. I'm like, this is Thor. She's like, he's choking, right? And I'm like, no. Like, she miscommunicated what my mom was saying on the phone. I said, I think his neck is broken or something. So I pass him to the lady at the front desk to bring him back to the emergency vet. And so she takes him, and I'm like, just start bawling. I was trying to like keep it together the whole time because I was in a very like emergency situation. But then I just start bawling. She hands me like the papers to fill out for him and everything. So I am just crying. I'm trying to fill out these papers, and tears are just dripping down on this paper, and I'm just freaking out because I'm thinking, if he dies, I want him to like die in my arms. I want him to pass away in my arms. I don't want him to be back there, like, because his eyes are still open the whole time, guys. His tongue's out, there's foam, and his eyes are still open looking at me the whole car ride, just looking up at me. So I know he's like still like there. I just don't know, like, you know, obviously what's wrong. So I just like, I'm crying. I'm like, guys, I want to hold him. If he's passing away, like, I want to be the one that holds him. Like, I want him to like be by me, because me and Thor just have like a super good bond. Me and Thor just have like a super good bond. Since he was a puppy, he's just like, we've had a really good bond. So I just really close to him, and I also close to Mocha, but just Thor a little bit more because we've had him longer. Anyways, I'm just crying, and then I hear Thor in the back screaming, like just screaming. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like what is going on back there? Anyways, so I'm just crying thinking like he's really hurt. I don't know what's going on. I'm just bawling. Anyways, JD goes to give me a hug. My mom's like, it's all gonna be okay. Both my mom and Janie and my dad, they obviously didn't tell me this in the moment, but the whole time they're thinking like he's dead. My mom said the whole time that she thought he was choking, he wasn't breathing. So she's like, yeah, he's gone, but she obviously wasn't going to tell me that in that moment, but that's what she told me afterwards. So yeah, there was a good like 2 to 3 minutes he wasn't breathing. And so the doctor comes in, I tell him everything that happened. I tell him everything that Josh told me. I tell him that he wasn't breathing. We moved him a lot because I thought maybe he was choking, whatever. And he's like, okay, I am going back there, and we're testing all of his vitals. We're doing all the things to see what's going on. So it's so weird, okay? Because when he goes back there, the doctor comes back after I tell him the whole story. He's like, okay, so you told me the whole story. We checked his heartbeat and all of his vitals and whatnot, and he seems to be doing fine. He's just in a kennel back there just looking around, and he was walking and everything. And I'm like, what? I'm like how? Like, he literally, when I went in that room and Josh was there and I saw him laying on the ground, he literally looked like he was, you know, gone. I just still had hope, but I just thought he was gone. And I'm like, how is he back there running around right now? Like, I'm so confused. Like, there was foam, like his eyes were closed, he wasn't breathing for 3 minutes. And he explains to us that his best guess is Thor had a seizure, which I had no idea that animals could have a seizure. And it can just be like super random. It can come from excitement. It can come from fear. It can just be random where they just have a seizure. And that's why he bit Josh, because usually when they have a seizure, they either can start by like barking a lot or going crazy and then biting things because they can't control their mouth. So that's probably why he like bit Josh, and then he was just laying there because he was probably in shock or something that like what just happened to me. The weird thing is it's not very common that they stop breathing, and for sure Thor stopped breathing, like for sure, at least for a couple minutes. And so he said that my mom, by trying to give him CPR, that could have helped him start breathing, and it could have actually like really saved his life or helped him a lot during that time. So that was actually a good thing that we thought he was choking, because he really wasn't breathing, and he said that for sure was a good possibility that saved his life, thinking that he was choking and doing that to him. It was a crazy moment, and he was literally fine after that. Like, I couldn't believe like the dog I just saw. But it was just so crazy. And he's like, if he has it again, there's medicine. If he stops breathing during a seizure again, bring him in right away. Anyway, so he literally just got got Thor after like, we were there for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. He got Thor, brought him in. Thor's running around licking my face, so happy like that he can do that again. Like, I have no idea. The dog that went into the emergency room was a completely different dog that came out. Like, if you know what I mean, like he was just like, he couldn't move. Like, he wasn't moving. It was so weird. Nothing was moving. And then after, he just is happy. And so it was just crazy. He was still very like calm though. I would say like he was just a very like calm, like he didn't want to play with Mocha really or anything when we got home. Josh was calling me a million times trying to figure out if Thor like passed away because he didn't know, but it was just a crazy time of emotion. And Josh thought like when he bit him and Josh like went like this, like it made him paralyzed or something. Like Josh was thinking it was his fault. It was just an awful situation because we had no idea that dogs had seizures. The doctor said that that could have been his first seizure ever, or he could have had them before. We just didn't know. It was such a crazy time. I don't know if explaining it made you guys like feel the fear that I had, because it was actually so scary. He was like, it was crazy. He wasn't breathing, and you heard the story. But yeah, that's what happened to Thor. I posted this story right here on my Instagram saying that my puppies are now gonna not leave my side and sleep by me because of that scary incident that happened. And that story is what made a lot of you ask questions and stuff. So I decided to do a little story time on it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you guys like these story time videos, I have another story, a story that happened to us in Paris, France on our honeymoon. That is a really scary story. I thought I was literally going to die that day. So if you guys want to hear that story time, I'll do another one. Let me know in the comments below and give this video a thumbs up if you like these kind of videos. And I'm literally so glad that Thor is okay. I love you. I like never been a dog person until I got Thor. I'm really glad Thor is okay, and that's all that happened. Really glad my mom happened to think he was choking and started doing CPR and stuff, because that also possibly could have saved his life and we really could have lost him. So I love you. Thank you. I really don't let him ever lick my lips, but at this point I don't care because I felt like I basically lost him, so I'm just so happy that he's here. So yeah, thanks guys for watching the story time, and if you're not subscribed, you guys can subscribe down below. Thanks guys, I'll see you later. Bye.